Well, it's official. I don't really know what to make videos about right now. If I were to make a video about another one of these stupid things right here, it would probably get a lot of views. People seem to be really interested in like my videos about the GeForce FX series, but the problem is, well, as much as I would like to talk about them until the end of time because I personally love them, not really everyone else wants to hear about this over and over and over again. Although on an unrelated note, you probably can't really tell in the video, but I can tell that this cap needs replacing. And let me guess, 6.3 volts, 1000 microfarads? Let's see. Survey says 10 volts, 1000 microfarads. Interesting. I'm gonna have to buy some of those because, yeah, that one is definitely in the early stages of becoming a puffy boy. But either way, my channel has always kind of been about variety, and there's definitely times where I'm more focused on one thing versus another thing because it's just, or my hyperfixations are on that particular thing. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, I've been experimenting a lot lately, and I've sort of ran out of interesting video ideas. I mean, I am working on a couple things right now, but I'm also kind of in like a bit of a depression because, well, what I have worked on recently hasn't done quite too well. And more importantly, honestly, the main reason why is I've had a huge amount of bad luck lately, mainly around this stuff, and it just seems like every week it's getting worse and worse and worse. But something good did happen last weekend though. I got a couple of computers, one of them for free, but it was free and it's a Compaq. I love my Compaqs, and I could not turn down a free Compaq, no matter how old it is. The reason why I love Compaq so much is because, well, my dad worked for Compaq from like the late 90s into the early 2000s, basically up and right until after they got acquired or bought out by HP. So while my dad may not have worked directly with these, he did work with systems like the Compaq LTE, the Compaq Armada, the later Presarios. So again, I don't care for computers so old that they literally didn't even come with a CD drive. That is not my thing. Maybe it was interesting to me as a kid just from the perspective of taking things apart and messing around with really old stuff, but as a 26-year-old adult, I could give less of a shit about this computer. But again, it was free and it's a Compaq, so I have to give it a chance. I will admit that I haven't messed with something this old in, oh my god, maybe not that long if you count laptops. I did actually completely restore a Compaq LTE Pentium 1 laptop last summer. But in terms of desktops, I guarantee you it's been years since I've touched something this old. Like, maybe even 10 years at least. But enough with the blabbering. Let's get into this thing, shall we? Alright, there we go. Well, what do we have inside here? We have the Skiing Man. A 486 SX, I think, which is like 66 megahertz, something like that. We have a sound card, which looks like it was added way after the fact. Just going off the, like, the dates, that's like 97, the rest of the system's like 93, 94. We have some sort of card here. What even is this? It looks like it's for modem, I think. And maybe Ethernet? This thing even has PS2, which is very interesting because it's like, again, a 1994, 1993 machine. I'm not too sure when IBM started letting other people use their PS2 standard or whatever, but this must have been like right when they just started doing that. This whole thing is so dusty, it's kind of nasty. It looks like we're actually missing a hard drive. I don't see a hard drive here. Yeah, we're definitely missing a hard drive. Oh, there's the RAM. The gold is always hidden behind the flaps. Mitsubishi. Ooh, this must be some fast RAM. So yeah, there's what I was saying, 93, 94. It seems to be that that's when this computer was made. Definitely 1994, so this would have been like right before Windows 95. Very sad empty slot. No optical media here. Unfortunate. Alright, I need to know what's hiding under here. Let's take this weird Ethernet. Wait, can we even get this out? No, we can't because this power supply is in the way. If you wanted to get this out, you would have to first remove the power supply. Oh my god. Alright, this power supply should Huh? Don't tell me it's actually held together with 2 nuts. There's no way. Son of a gun, it's held together with 2 nuts. So if you want to get the power supply out, there's actually 2 like nuts that have to come off, as you can see there, left and right. I can't be bothered to do that actually, because it looks like you're gonna have to take all of this out. I took the sound card off, and would you look at this? Tasang Labs ET4000. Now I'm not gonna act like I know anything about this era of computing, because I know literally nothing about it. But if there's one thing I do know, the Tasang Labs ET4000 was a pretty decent 2D card for its time. Okay, well before I do anything else to this computer, like power it on or whatever, I want to make sure that we get rid of as much of this garbage in here as possible, because it is really dirty and it's making a mess of my bench already, which is already messy enough. I don't need it to be any more messy. So, alright, well we're back, and if you ask me, it looks a lot cleaner. Far less junk hiding out in here now. I mean, look at how much cleaner the power supply vents are. Much, much better. Even over here, no more junk in the corner anymore. So it's looking a lot better. Now, I would say, hey, let's go test it and see if it works. But, honesty hour, I got a little too excited and I already tested it. So, obviously no hard drive. 8 megabytes of RAM. And actually, that's about all I know about it. I don't know anything else about it. It turns on, it has 8 megabytes of RAM, and presumably it has a 486 SX. This one may or may not, I don't really know. But at least knowing that it works gives me the drive and, let's say, the will to keep going on with this. So why don't we find a hard drive to put in here, shall we? So trying to choose a hard drive is going to be difficult because both of these drives were technically not factory sizes. The Western Digital is 1.1 gig, the Maxtor is 120. Now the Maxtor is a lot closer to what this computer would have come with. I think it actually went down to be as small as 84 megabytes and probably about as large as 500 and some megabytes. But from what I read, typically they came with 260s. So definitely a smaller hard drive, but not the smallest one you could do. Of course, if we do the 120 meg drive, we can't get Windows 95 on here. It's probably going to take up too much space. But I'm also kind of like, do we want to put Windows 95 on here? Or maybe do we want to be a little bit silly and put Windows 3.1? To me, Windows 95 is just a really painful, much more crude version of Windows 98. And I already technically, as of the making of this video, have like 3 Windows 98 boxes. And I hate Windows 98, so I don't know why I have them. So maybe we'll start off with Windows 3.1 and we'll see where that leads us. I also just noticed the manufacture date kind of aligns with what's going on in the rest of this computer, minus that sound card. But anyways, because we don't have an optical drive, we're going to have a little bit of a problem trying to load stuff onto here. So what I'm thinking of doing is maybe formatting the drive as like FAT16, because I think that's all Windows 3.1 can handle. Basically, let's see if we can copy over all the install media and all the drivers and any sort of applications we want to load up, and then kind of run from there and see how it goes. Well, that's not looking too good so far. No idea what is going on. Why does it take this long to copy over 70 megabytes? Okay, so from what I remember with the NEC Mobio is that you couldn't just take any hard drive and put it in. You had to run sysc, which would, I guess, kind of prep the hard drive. We're getting a lot further than we did before, so that's good. Will it work? Whoa. Oh, that we're not getting very far. It's just crashed. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, that's fine. We can fix that. Yo, it's actually working! Oh, no. I don't really remember how drivers work in Windows 3.1 and MS-DOS. I'm pretty sure it's in config.sys though. I'm really trying to dig deep back into those childhood memories of messing with this stuff. I have no idea what I'm doing right now, or what any of this really means. I found out you can actually rerun the Windows setup or something like it in the Windows directory, and it looks like the drivers are already here actually, so I don't know why it's not happy. Maybe we can start with like I don't know, the basic of basic. Just try this one and see what happens. So this is what it complains about. Maybe I'll try not deleting the corrupt swap file. I don't think it's gonna make a difference though. And then it brings up not sup. Ooh! Ooh! It's actually working! Very buggy, but it's working. And oh. The mouse just died. I don't know why. Okay, it's actually booted now. It's doing something. I don't know why the mouse doesn't work anymore, but that's good. We're getting somewhere. So to fix that bug, or not bug, but like problem with the virtual memory or whatever, we gotta go here. Alright, so it's definitely something to do with trying to get it into 800 by 600 mode because, well, when I do that, I get the not supported thing. So I actually found out that there's this thing, I think it's in control panel. It's called drivers, and I actually removed some of the non-existent, or rather no longer existent, Sound Blaster drivers. And as you can tell, we at least have the mouse back now. Remember how I said I wasn't going to take the power supply out because it was too much effort? Well, I wasn't wrong. It's still technically not completely disassembled and removed, but it had to come out. I'm getting really tired of having to redo the settings for the like BIOS and stuff, so I'm going to probably try and change the battery, except it looks like it's tack welded or something. Oh, that is 100% tack welded on. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I suppose you could wire up like a little battery thing to where it's soldered there, but so here's like the modem and maybe Ethernet card sort of combo thing that was in there. Anyways, disregard what I said because I just tried to plug an Ethernet cord in there, and yeah, it was suspiciously narrow. The cord was too wide. This is just a modem. Just casually tearing apart the entire thing mid-video, no big deal. Hopefully I can put it back together. I actually went through my pile of stuff and I did find this. I don't know if it actually works. I probably pulled it from a laptop recently. So if you're putting two and two together, you know, I think this might just work. They're both 3 volts. But, you know, a wise man would measure using a multimeter how much voltage is left in this, but I'm neither wise nor a man. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I don't have a multimeter, unfortunately. So if I understand it right, based off of this thing right here that I pulled out that you can't see too well, the negative is going to be right there, and positives are going to be there. It looks like this thing had 2 positives. I guess it's just kind of an extra. I don't really know, but I'm going to guess that our red wire is going to go there, as you can see kind of here, and the black one goes there. So yeah, let's see what we can do. It ain't pretty, but fingers crossed, as long as it works, that's all I care about. Well, here we are. We're in Windows 3.1 now. And I should probably kind of explain how we got to this point, because as you saw me just maybe a couple clips ago, I was struggling big time and things were really not working. So allow me to kind of recap what happened really quickly. Essentially, I was trying to use some image from an almost identical but still slightly different Compaq Presario. I think it was 660 CDS or 663 CDS, and it would only want to image it to a bigger hard drive, so that's why we used the WD Caviar, just interim to test things, even though I did suspect that the Maxtor hard drive was bad at first, but it isn't. To make a long story short, that image was just not playing very nicely with this, and as it would turn out, kinda imaging Windows 3.1 doesn't really work that nicely anyways. So what I ended up doing is getting a different Windows 3.1 archive image of like a Compaq Presario from the same time period, and I just basically formatted the Maxtor hard drive inside the Compaq instead of externally on a different system. I used an MS-DOS disk to format it, and then when I was done that, I basically just copied over the Windows folder along with like any programs and drivers I wanted, modified the autoexec.bat and the config.sys. Of course I ran sysc again to make sure the hard drive was prepped and ready to boot from MS-DOS. And then it was actually relatively smooth sailing from there on. Everything seems to just more or less work now, which is awesome. So the Maxtor hard drive was actually fine, and now I have a relatively stable and decent install of Windows 3.1. I've actually gone ahead and installed the drivers for the sound card, as you heard. The Tasang Labs ET4000 driver is also here and good. I can show you that right now if we go to main. Let's change the picture to 256 colors.bmp, and as you can see, that looks perfectly fine. So the driver's working. You may notice that the screen looks a little off, like it's kind of bowing like that a little bit. That's just because this monitor doesn't play too nicely at 60 Hertz, and that's what this is, 640 by 480 60 Hertz. Everything, as I said, seems to work, and this Compaq restoration if you even want to call it that, has been overall a success. It's been a little bit of a ride, but it was fun to go back and mess with this stuff, and yeah. But anyways, I brought you guys up here to this beige exclusive setup just because, well, even though I'm done with this little project, it would kind of suck to just be like, well, here it is. And I don't really know what to do with a computer like this, but I do kind of have two ideas. So follow me. We are going to enjoy the two little ideas that I have for this thing. You can probably already guess exactly what they are, but what can I say? I'm basic. Well, there you go. That's Doom 2. You got to run Doom 2. I think that's just kind of what you have to do when you test a 486. I absolutely love that it runs at like 30 FPS, something like that. That's hilarious to me. If you do turn down the graphics, you can actually make it run a lot faster, which is really funny to me. Like now it runs way better. The second thing that I can think of doing is really not that much different than the first thing, but still would be kind of fun, I think. Well, that about does it for this little project here. I get it wasn't like a super huge restoration or something, but it was definitely a bit of a challenge for me, seeing as I haven't messed with something like this in many years. But if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And yeah, I do have more stuff coming down the pipeline. Don't know when, but soon. But for now, hopefully this was entertaining enough. And I will see you guys in the next one.